Ethanol production last week in the U.S. rose, however, stocks were still up. USDA export sales for corn were at 1.006 million tons, which was on the lower end of expectations. U.S. wheat futures were mostly higher in morning trade. The December contract in Chicago gained 5 cents to 5.13. Kansas City was up 4 cents to 5.18 per bushel, and Minneapolis December wheat rose 2 cents to 5.91. Export sales for wheat were at 87,000 tons, which is less than what traders were expecting. Western Australia is expecting their smallest wheat crop in 11 years due to the drought and an early frost. The USDA has pegged the Australian wheat crop at 18.5 million tons. That's a look at the ICE Futures canola and U.S. markets for Friday morning, October 12th in Winnipeg. From Markets Farm, I'm Ashley Robinson.
This year's Value Bonanza sales event at Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John gives you more choices and more savings. Choose 0% financing, cash back, and more on select New Holland tractors, hay and forage products, and materials handling equipment. These Value Bonanza offers end October 31st, so make the trip to Butler Farm Equipment in Fort St. John today. For commercial use only, customer participation subject to credit qualification and CNH Industrial Capital Canada Limited approval. Standard terms, conditions, and other restrictions apply. Down payment may be required.
The opinions expressed during this show do not represent those of this station. If you've missed any of this show, you can follow the podcast at energeticcity.ca. Now, an in-depth look at the news and information shaping our community. This is Trev Talks with your host, Trevor Boland.
Good morning. My name is Chris Newton. We are, of course, week 4 of Chris Talks.
Yes.
Trevor Boland is not hosting that during the duration of the municipal election campaign, so I'm your host. I'm the news director here at Moose FM. My name is Chris Newton. I'm joined by 2 very special guests who made headlines this week, Bob Zimmer, MP, and Jeff Garrison, 2 gentlemen who were involved in helping out residents of Old Fort with the ongoing landslide situation that we've been dealing with for just under 2 weeks now. It was 12 days ago that first signs that the hillside above Old Fort was starting to slide. Not long after that, the road to Old Fort severed access to the community for residents, and now it's kind of things have escalated from there. Gentlemen, maybe if I can get you guys to sort of elaborate on how you guys got involved in this situation.
Yeah, I think it started with, it was just helping a friend of mine, Josh Giesbrecht. His house is the one that's tipping over, and going down there Thanksgiving, we just had our dinner and said, we got to go help these guys, and went down to help. And then I was going to go back the next day to actually help him do some things. And
Right.
Jeff said, hey, any way I can help, I'd be more than happy to help you. He called me that morning. So I said, hey, we have this plan to go get some stuff out of his house. And so down we went. We made the video calling for more help for other residents, too, that need help to get stuff out. And it really went from there, and it just snowballed. The amount of support that came in. Jeff posted his number on that particular Facebook post, and his phone was ringing off the hook. And that's really what precipitated the whole thing, and all the people willing to help. So.
Right. So now you guys made this video on, what was it, Monday? Monday.
Yeah.
And that was the day after.
It was Tuesday morning.
It was Tuesday, yeah, right, that's right. It was after Thanksgiving, yeah.
Tuesday morning. Okay, so the first weekday after Thanksgiving. Of course, Thanksgiving, that afternoon, was when the Peace River Regional District issued an evacuation order for the residents. I guess take us through sort of what you guys experienced helping residents that had to deal with that evacuation order. What was sort of the reaction to that?
There was a lot of reaction. First off, people were excited that they were getting some help. They don't feel they've been getting any help from the regional district. They haven't been getting answers. And that's why we put this together, is because we can only imagine how they feel and if it was our homes and whatever. So they were right on board, helping each other, helping us help them. We had a lot of local help, contractors, volunteers, stores in town offering supplies, helicopters, even riverboats. And at the end of the day, when we were finished for the day, we saw residents break down. For the first time, they felt like they had somebody in their corner, and there was quite an emotional response, and it was really heartwarming. And proud to be able to do something like that.
Right. Now, I mean, Wednesday, you guys did all this. This was Wednesday morning that this happened, when you guys sort of arranged a bit of a defiance of that evacuation order. Take me through what happened that morning.
Yeah, and I wouldn't really say it was a defiance of the evacuation order. What I'd been doing, we'd already been going across on the land crossings in the past few days.
Right.
So what we were seeing was the land crossings were slowly being closed to any kind of helpers. So we hadn't been told that water access was limited to us. So we went in with the residents wanting to help. That was the understanding. Again, we didn't want to break any laws, and that wasn't the intent. It was to get in there and help while there's still an opportunity. What I saw coming, we all saw the rains coming that happened yesterday and last night. We wanted to beat that, so because we thought that it might change everything. It might cause the slide to start getting a lot worse. So that's why we wanted to beat that.
Right.
And that's why we did it on that particular day.
Okay. So it was just basically you guys were looking at the forecast, and it was kind of the evacuation order had been issued, but you were like, okay, well, there's going to be rain. This slide could pick up speed, which, as I understand, Minister of Public Safety Mike Farnworth is in town on Wednesday. And he gave a press conference the afternoon after you guys sort of went in there and helped get folks' homes winterized and that sort of thing. And apparently the slide has started to move. It's sitting at about 20 meters a day instead of the initial 4 meters a day. What's the sort of sentiment you're getting from residents currently? Do they feel like they're getting more answers from authorities, or?
No, I think what's happening now is they understand that Bob and I have been in close contact with the authorities, the regional district especially, and we're transferring that information to the residents. We have a meeting with them at 10:45 today at Bob Zimmer's office, and we're going to update them on things that we've discussed with the regional district at this point. But as far as do they feel comfortable yet, they still have a lot down there that's uninsured, so I don't know. I can't speak for them, but I do know we still see a lot of people that are scared.
Right.
Yeah.
How many folks have stayed in their homes and are not leaving despite the fact that the evacuation order was issued?
We've heard various numbers. We know the Kirschbaums are down there, and that's one probably I'm concerned about the most. They have horses and that, and she's in her 60s. Mr. Kirschbaum, too, Carl, is 66, I believe. But other than that, I believe there's around 10 people that are still down there in their residences. So. And some have generators, some don't. Like Mrs. Kirschbaum, for instance, is getting colder, and her TV was just cut off, so it's very limited in terms of what she has for resources. So there's still an urgency there. I guess I'm concerned about people like that.
Yeah,
that
for sure.
Their health is at stake a little bit. But a lot of I would say the urgent stuff came out on Wednesday. But there's still, you talk about, people say, well, and one of the residents, Art, as we've been talking to daily, I say it's easy for everybody else to say, look, at least your life is okay and everything else will be fine. He says, but it's easy to say for somebody that's not losing everything.
Yeah.
Because they're losing their homes, they're losing their furniture, everything that means anything to them of value is going to be gone because it's not insured. Right. So that's why we want to make the next effort and say, okay, let's get that other stuff out that's valuable to you.
For sure. Now, this is we've seen actually, this isn't the first instance that we've seen of folks that have not heeded evacuation orders. We saw this a lot in the Caribou over the summer with the wildfire situation. A lot of folks that lived on the south side of Francois Lake, that there was a wildfire nearby, and they didn't evacuate. They were staying at their house. They were manning sprinklers, doing everything that they could to sort of make sure their property didn't go up in flames. Why do you suppose folks have a tendency to stay and try and do as much as they can when the authorities are telling them, look, this is really dangerous, you should probably get out?
That's an easy question to answer. Think about everything you've ever worked for. You built your life, you have your dreams, your goals, and everything is sitting down there, and you're going to lose it all. You're going to be dead in the water, and nobody's got your back. You have to fight to keep what's yours. We all do it. It's built in us.
Right.
Yeah, and I think what's getting mixed into this, too, is we always hear about liability. Yeah, we all understand that. But there's a certain point where, everybody wants to be safe from getting, liable for things. But at some point, you need to do what needs to get done. And that, we believe, what leaders do is you get it done. And, certainly we don't want to have anybody's lives at risk and at stake. And if the slide is accelerating, then yes, that's why we got in earlier to get it out so people's lives aren't really at risk. But at the early stages, a lot more really should have been done. And then they wouldn't be more precarious as they are now.
Right.
So we just think there was a lot that needed to be done. Still a lot needs to be done. And we have a community that gets stuff done.
Right, absolutely. What now, as I understand it, though, there was a bit of sort of slight confrontation. You know, folks with the regional district not happy with what happened on Wednesday. But from what I understand, this is actually, despite the fact that there were, you know, negative impacts, I guess there's also a lot of positive that's come out of this. As I understand, you guys are actually starting to work together. Maybe elaborate on that a bit.
Shannon Anderson from the regional district reached out to me, and he said, I understand you have a large group of people that are willing to help. Yes, we do. I made it clear that we have to help these people, and they kept saying, no, we can't. You had lots of time to do it. So it came down to he wanted to work with us.
Right.
So we had numerous meetings with them so far to this point where we've hammered out a lot of plans. Some plans have been shut down because of safety reasons, and we can understand that and respect that.
Right.
Other plans are still in the works. We can't get too much into detail on that. We can just assure people the regional district is working very close with a few of its representatives, and we are confident that they're doing everything they can to work with us. We have unlimited resources in this town. Bob and I made a presentation to the oilmans last night, and they have people in there that have unlimited equipment and unlimited potential to get this done. And we're presenting that to the regional district as well, and really pushing them to step it up and let us get in there. We do want to stress, though, we are working with the regional district on this, and we're asking everybody to adhere to the evacuation order and trust the fact that as soon as it's safe to do so, the regional district has assured us they are going to let us go in there with as many volunteers as we need. We presented them with a plan yesterday to have as many, minimum 400 volunteers, anywhere up to 1,000 people on site with an evacuation plan in place, early warning devices, etc. We just need their okay. And so far they're liking the plan, so now it's a matter of implementing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
We are going to be calling out to the community to have a community meeting, have these volunteers step forward. Anybody who's willing to do that, we've been getting amazing response so far. People are willing to loan river boats and manpower and vehicles to move items. You name it, we have people to do it. We need more. So we're going to look to have some kind of a community meeting in the near future. Yeah, and that's where we're going to collect a lot of the names. If people have things to offer now, they can call my office in Fort St. John, 250-787-1194.
Okay.
250-787-1194, or send my email or Facebook is okay, but it's a little bit better. We're trying to get somebody that's going to be there for a nice period of time to record all this stuff.
Right, absolutely, for sure. So, and you guys are basically looking to get this information over the weekend into early next week type thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, if you want to help out the situation, volunteer to help the residents of Old Fort once it is safe to do so. Give MP Bob Zimmer's office a call. What's that number again?
250-787 1194. And you can also send me an email at bob.zimmer.mp@parle.gc.ca. You can Google it too. Just send me an email and we'll collect it all in my office. And the meeting's coming as well, where we'll collect a lot of this too, but just stay tuned. More will be happening very soon.
Perfect.
I'll say one more thing too, and as we get things out in the media and social media with our plans, we're asking everybody to share these posts, call your friends, get this out there, do everything you can, and if that's all you do, that's a huge help.
Yeah. Can I say one thing, Chris, too? And I know we're pushing our time. The one thing that I would say was the priority now for the people that are here that have made the move is we really need residences for people to stay in, because right now they're all at hotels.
Right.
So if anybody has a house that's sitting dormant or sitting empty, or an apartment or something that you can help out, because a family's a family, they want to not just be stuck in a hotel room where they're eating restaurant food every day. That's really what I would say we could really use a lot more of, is housing for these folks more long-term. And again, for the people out there that may not see this as a long-term thing, we're looking at least 4 to 8 months before they can even think of returning to their houses.
Right, yeah.
So they're going to need a house for a fair amount of time. So if anybody has something, let us know.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris.
Be back with more Chris Talks after the break.
If you're currently looking for a job, Employment Connections offers free services and programs to support job seekers hunting for long-term work, and they can help you get you connected. There are many services available that combine one-on-one support along with the use of the Self-Serve Resource Center. Come see the staff at the Work BC office on 99th Avenue and explore your eligibility for free services and programs. The employment program at British Columbia is funded by the Government of Canada and the Province of British Columbia.
City Furniture's 42nd anniversary sale means super deals for less. Like our sectional sofa with pull-out bed at $9.99, save $700. Own a Bosch dishwasher, just $4.99, save $300. And enjoy no payments, no interest till fall 2019. But City Furniture's anniversary events for a limited time. See us in store or our flyers at cityfurniture.ca.
Voting in the referendum?
What referendum?
This fall, vote in the 2018 referendum on electoral reform.
Yeah, that referendum.
Make sure your voter information is up to date so you get your voting package in the mail, especially if you've moved recently or will be away during the referendum.
Are you up to date?
How do I do that?
Call 1-800-661-8683 or visit elections.bc.ca/OVR to update your info and mailing address today. This has been a message from Elections BC.
Photographers, flowers, dresses. The 21st annual Fort St. John Wedding Show was a huge success, and Michael So Jewelry was proud to be a big part of it. If you were also at the Fort St. John Wedding Show, Michael So Jewelry invites you to stop into their store to take advantage of your $20 off all necklaces and pendants, plus 20% off all diamond rings. Let the amazing staff at Michael So Jewelry help you pick out the perfect piece or two. Michael So Jewelry, your licensed goldsmith in-house in the Totem Mall.
Have you been a smoker for too long? Tired of spending money to smell like an ashtray but can't find the best tool to quit? Well, look no further. Vape Revolution is your one-stop vape shop. Right in the center of Fort St. John on 100th Street, Vape Revolution has every tool imaginable to help you or someone you know quit smoking. Did we also mention that we are now the largest CBD retailer in the area? With hundreds of products to choose from, we offer a full range of alternative products for not only the smoker trying to quit, but for anybody with pain, anxiety, depression, and so much more. Stop in now, check out everything we have to offer. Now open 10 to 8, 7 days a week.
I bet you're wondering what you're gonna have for dinner. Getting a great meal to feed the whole family is as simple as one stop to M&M Food Market on your way home from work.
Stop in and grab chicken lasagna for just $3.99 or 2 pieces of rosemary pull-apart bread for just $4.99. And don't forget dessert, get 2 portions of your choice of blossoms for just $3.99 with 4 varieties to choose from.
Don't head home empty-handed. Stop by M&M Food Market. Your home for great variety and great taste with gluten-free options available. M&M Food Market, real food for real life.
One of Canada's greatest country duos is returning to the energetic city. Doc Walker is hitting the road to pay tribute to small town pride across the country with their acoustic songs and stories from the Heartland Tour, February 23rd at the Lido Theatre. Tickets are on sale now at System Sound Source or online at energetictickets.ca. Doc Walker's acoustic songs and stories from the Heartland Tour, February 23rd at the Lido Theatre. Watch this show live on Facebook or download the podcast at energeticcity.ca. This is Trev Talks with Trevor Bolin.
Welcome back to Chris Talks with I'm your guest host on Trev Talks, Chris Newton, news director here at Moose FM, and got a very special guest on the line this morning, joined by the chair of the Peace River Regional District Board. He is also the director for Electoral Area C. Brad Sperling's on the line. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning.
How are things this morning? It sounds like you're just kind of. We spoke off the air earlier this morning. You said you had about 2 laptops, 2 cell phones in front of you right now.
Yes, I do.
So I guess
I've been going cross-eyed lately, but it's what's happening. So
yeah, no, I mean that's totally understandable. I guess take me through sort of, briefly summarize, I guess, for our listeners what happened, what you've been up to since this whole thing unfolded on Sunday the 30th there.
Well, it started Sunday. I mean, it just doesn't seem to want to stop or slow or grow. It seems to be very confusing. The technical people that are advising us, they're trying to collect all the data they can, but I mean, from the time I got down there Sunday to now, it's incredible the way it's moved and changed.
Right. Take us through some, what the geologists are saying about this slide. How, obviously they don't have a cause, what led the hill to slide down on Sunday, but maybe, what sort of how this has evolved.
Well, I think the biggest problem they're having is because it keeps growing hourly and daily, it's the technical data, and I mean, they're collecting this LiDAR, I don't know exactly what it is, but they're relying on that to make determinations or to find out where this slide is going and how big it's going to grow. And until they have all that data, they're relying on what they have and what they're seeing to advise us right now. And I think the main point is they do need to put all the LiDAR information together so they know exactly what it is and what it's doing and how to advise us whether it's going to stop, grow, get faster. But until then, I mean, they're going to err on the side of caution and advise us in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm assuming, especially from the regional district standpoint, there was the big mudslide that happened in Oso, Washington, about 80 kilometers northeast of Seattle. That was about 4.5 years ago, and resulted in the deaths of 43 people. Big, mudslide, rain-soaked hill just kind of let go and covered this huge valley floor. I'm guessing that's sort of fresh in your mind, especially with the way the weather is turning. Is that what the geologists have said?
Well, like I say, until they get this data, they don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, if I look at back where I was standing where it first started and walked around the initial slide, and I look at what it is now, I mean, when I was there, did I personally feel safe at the time? Sure. But when I look at what it is now, obviously I wasn't.
Yeah.
And that's the information that they need to collect and put together and advise us. And I mean, they're advising us the best they can daily as it grows. I mean, none of us expected it to impact those islands out there. It's already impacting them. So.
Right. How? Maybe take us through how far out into those islands south of Old Fort the slide has traveled. I remember, if I understand it, it reached the river at the beginning of this week. Is that when the slide reached the river itself? Or?
Okay. First of all, what day is this?
It's Friday.
The Friday.
Friday.
It actually reached the islands Wednesday.
Wednesday.
And then when they flew over it Thursday morning, and then we flew over it again with the minister about 5-6 hours later, and it had traveled in that short time about another 20 meters, the technical person.
Which is, I mean, that's almost 100 feet, whereas at the beginning, if I'm not mistaken, it was traveling closer to about 4 meters a day.
It depends on which section. No, it's the main slide or the original slide. When it first started out, it went from 50 meters down to 30, and then it started to pick up speed again, but it was pushing land ahead of it too.
Right. Now, obviously, the chief thing a lot of folks down in Old Fort seem to be, the big sentiment here appears to be that, because the slide is much further west of, where the actual sort of crescent, the big, the Old Fort Road loop is, folks down there are saying, why have I been forced to evacuate from my home? It's over there. What are the geologists saying is the potential with the geology of the river valley itself? Are they saying that this thing could definitely migrate, or?
And that is what they're saying. They're actually looking at it as almost 3 separate slides.
Right.
You have the original going down the center, which has reached and impacted the islands.
Mm-hmm.
The ones to the west under the old lookout, there's definitely movement there. I think that's the one they believe is moving about 4 meters a day.
Okay.
Or was. And then there's also all the stress cracks and movement on the east side towards the residents, the Old Fort Loop, those residents. And they are concerned about the impact of those hills moving towards residents. I mean, we've even had to ask the city to monitor their lagoons and their water levels.
Right, absolutely. And that could definitely sort of become a bit of a game changer if the sewage lagoons do get involved and we, potentially see those, the integrity of those fail. Looking at, possible health issues at play here. Is that part of, I guess, the reason that the evacuation order was also issued is due to the fact that, right now the residents down there don't have any external power. BC Hydro can't get electricity down. You guys can't get water down. And then, of course, there's no way for residents to be emptying their septic tanks, that sort of thing. Is that sort of also at play with this evacuation order, the human health aspects?
No, it's safety.
Okay.
So you have to remember, the province has emergency guidelines and under legislation. Now, regional districts, whether it's a flood, a fire, landslide, we are mandated by the province to enact that legislation. And safety is the number one thing. And right now, that is our number one thing, is keeping people safe.
Absolutely. But, at the same time, you guys say that, you want to keep people safe, but, you guys are hearing as our previous guest, Jeff Garrison, MP Bob Zimmer spoke, you guys are, there was obviously the situation where those folks went into Old Fort on Wednesday morning. As I understand it, you guys are now sort of working together and collaborating on getting this plan in place to help these residents once it is safe to do so. Maybe take me through some of that.
They are working with the district now, prepared. The volunteers, I've been told they've got up to 200 volunteers. Equipment, I don't think there's any shortage of equipment that's been offered up. But still, the end result is, until the geologists say that it is safe for us to go in, we won't be going in.
Right.
I don't think there's a person in this whole regional district that isn't prepared or wants to be down there to put those people back in their homes or get them out. But until the geologists and those technical people advise us of that it is safe to move, that is when we'll move. Ministry of Transportation, they've got equipment. They were ready to start pushing that road across the island yesterday morning, and the equipment's sitting down there, and by 1:30, we were placing the evacuation order on those islands.
Right, because, the geologist has said this could continue. So I guess for anyone who wants to get involved and help out, what's the best way to help out currently, and how can folks get involved once geologists determine that it's safer?
The best way is to contact the EOC. If it's equipment or if they're volunteering, that's the best way. They're compiling all the lists and the process that we have to go through. Because you got to remember, even when we go in there, we have to know who's in there. We have to know they're safe and everything's being done in a proper and orderly manner.
Gotcha. Awesome. Brad, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Much appreciate it.
Not a problem.
All right. Have a great day, and as I said, thanks again for all the work you've been doing, keeping residents safe down there.
Please be safe out there. That's our number one concern, is the safety of the people.
Awesome. Thanks so much again.
Thank you.
That was Chris Talks this week. Don't forget to tune in live. We stream this on energeticcity.ca. You can also tune in every Friday. Next week, we are going to be hosting all of the candidates that are running for Fort St. John City Council. We're going to be airing the candidate profiles, so stay tuned for that. I'm Chris Newton. Thanks again for tuning in to Chris Talks on Moose FM.
Our community first. This is Trev Talks with your host, Trevor Bolin. You've been listening to Trev Talks, a weekly talk show about Fort St. John and the North Peace.